exposure that the radio was on the air was that we bumper stickered the whole town. We put stickers everywhere that said free radio. And I actually had a lot of fun doing that because I had a hard time just speaking on the air and that kind of thing. But to go out and put stickers everywhere was great. And they were really literally everywhere. They were in the bathrooms, on posts, and really well done, stickers. And we got a lot of listeners that way. And I think it'd be good to do that again. I did a program called the Food Not Bombs Radio Network program, and I would play some music and then talk a little bit, and then I would just put on the tape, the Food Not Bombs Radio Network. And that was created by Keith McHenry and Richard Edmondson up in San Francisco. And they did all kinds of things. They did a half-hour show, basically, on topics such as the Rodney King uprising, free Mumia Abu-Jamal, and also really good in-depth coverage of the food fight that was happening up in San Francisco, where people were getting arrested daily, like at lunch and dinner, for serving food. And it was really just ridiculous that the police were spending so much money up in San Francisco to steal buckets of food from poor people. And they were serving good, healthy vegetarian food, and it was being, smashed down. So the Food Not Bombs Radio Network was these tapes that they had sent out, and they were being played by any micro-broadcasters that could get their hands on it. And then they were also being played by alternative radio stations. There were some great shows, too, being played at that time.
What were some of the shows, do you remember?
There was the Free Mumia Abu-Jamal shows. There was Earth First had a show. Robert Norris, oh yeah. I think Linda LeMaster was on there for a while, and Linda Edwards. There was a lot of homeless people that had their own shows. We were all really just beginners, and I felt like I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but it didn't matter too much. I think the shows now are really good compared to what they were when we first started. When we first started, it was not professional to any degree. It was very much amateur kind of presentation, and a lot of people probably didn't even listen to the radio that much because there was a lot of strange stuff going on in the air because people, were just new at it, inexperienced, and weren't exactly sure how to go about doing a radio show. But now I listen to the shows, and the quality and the content of what's being broadcast on free radio is such exceptional stuff. It's better than any of the other radio stations in town. There's Democracy Now!, George, who has her show. When I listen to her show, I'm just blown away. I'm amazed at where she gets the information, and it's well documented, and she gives resources where you can check it out and see if it's really true what she's saying, and she puts it together really well. I'm very impressed with her show. The show I would recommend if I was listening to free radio is Peace Talks on Sunday at 3 p.m. It's a really exceptional show.
And that was Kim Argula, one of the founders of Free Radio Santa Cruz. For more information on Free Radio Santa Cruz, visit our website at freakradio.org. Email us at frsc@freakradio.org.
It's an on-air rebellion, an unlicensed radio station operating out of a tiny closet in a secret location. They say the free radio movement is just too big to stop.
Free Radio Santa Cruz, seizing the airwaves and giving voice to the voiceless.
Right the airways, we'll keep right the down. coming to a transmitter near you.
Somewhere in the ballpark of, 2,500 radio stations like this have cropped up all over the country.
Our pirate radio in the house.
Test. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yo.
Check, test. All right.
You know what I love about radio? The immediacy of it. You say something, it just goes out there.
Right.
You can't take it back.
Technology is only the tool. Communication's the goal.
Do you find that now having access to this technology has helped?
I think it's helped getting the word out and also being able to network and communicate.
Low power radio is often providing just the kind of locally focused issue news that commercial radio is pretty much given up on.
What is needed is to build a movement, hundreds of thousands of people. This has got to come from a people's movement.
These are just a bunch of rogue pirates, basically.
Hi, I want to welcome everybody to the new world of low-powered radio broadcasting by way of FM. Why would people want to have a radio station?
The reason I got started in low-power FM, pirate radio, micro-broadcasting, whatever you want to call it, is because I was tired of the crap they were playing on the radio and I wanted to do something about it.
Why would you want to have one?
To me, this radio station means, at this point in the game, the ultimate freedom of speech.
If you have a motive and an agenda, if you have a mission to reach people in your local community, you better get moving and you better get your radio station going.
Under the right of free speech and the fact that the airwaves are held in trust for the public, we are going to take a frequency from the commercial bandwidth that is not in use at this time.
What we are doing is completely lawful. In the FCC's view, it is not legal, but we maintain it is completely constitutional and lawful.
We're the only station in this city that's told the FCC to go away and they'll come back.
The only reason I started running a radio station was because no one else was doing it. It basically grew out of frustration with two so-called alternative format radio stations that had popped up, and they demonstrated that even the alternative is horribly mainstream. I decided something had to be done about this. I put up an antenna in my backyard and put on a 40-watt amplifier and set up a little studio in the guest house. And then Radio Limbo was born.
Radio Limbo 103.3 FM.
One thing for you to consider is the fact you probably will be contacted by the federal government. You need to be prepared so that when the FCC comes, you have what's called an affirmative defense ready for them.
This is a Critical Mass Radio Network.
You are tuned to Freak Radio Santa Cruz, 101 FM and freakradio.org, unlicensed micropower radio, and I am talking to the Ghost from Knoxville First Amendment Radio, KFAR 90.9 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and you guys were raided yesterday, September 15th.
Yes, I had news playing in the morning, and nobody was at the station. Three FCC agents came up from Atlanta, and they brought 3 federal marshals with them. Basically, they had a warrant to come and confiscate all the equipment. I think they had to get a locksmith to get into the building, and we got some DJs down there, put an alert up on our website immediately. The agents came in. Nobody was risking arrest. They simply came and took all the equipment. A couple things they did not take. We have a 115-foot tower, and for security reasons, they decided not to try to take that down. So our antenna is still sitting on top of a 115-foot tower.
Now, how did the agents treat you?
The agents would not respond to anybody. They would not give their names. They would not give their badge numbers. Even when the press got out there, they refused to talk or even identify themselves. The marshals, however, were very friendly, very talkative, and the marshals practically did nothing. The agents did all the work. The marshals obviously did not like the agents. They tried to get into one of the residence rooms, and one of the community members who had come down to the station when they saw this happening said, "Hey, these residence rooms are clearly marked apartments. You don't have a warrant for these apartments, they ended up not going into the residents' rooms. Nobody was in the station at the time that they arrived, but one of the neighbors called somebody who called me, and I alerted the media and started trying to get people up there. When I got up there, the FCC was leaving. They actually stopped me in the middle of the road. Apparently they're looking for 3 people, the 3 people who the utilities are in their name, and I'm not any one of those 3 people, but maybe they recognize me from photos in the past. We've had a lot of publicity lately.
Mm-hmm.
But they were very rude to me in the middle of the street. So I don't doubt that they were, intentionally rude. The last time they visited, we hounded their office in Atlanta. We hounded their personal office numbers with all sorts of calls and emails and letters. So that might be why they refused to identify themselves this time.
Well, were you guys trying to get a legal license as well?
Yes. I don't know if the application had been sent, but we were definitely in the process for applying for a legal license. As you know, because of the third channel adjacency rule, it makes it physically impossible in Knoxville to get one. So we are asking for a waiver for that. We are asking for all sorts of waivers. But we were in the process of applying for a legal license. We've been broadcasting for 3 years, though, without a license, because we believe the community has a right to the airwaves.
Federal government. Hey, everybody, government's here. Get our equipment.
Pirates are illegal, number one. They're causing disruptive transmissions, disruptive transmissions,
This is independent radio in a democracy.
We do have another DJ here on the line here from Knoxville, First Amendment Radio, KFAR 90.9. It was shut down September 15th, 2004. This is DJ Dirty D. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. We're hanging in there and trying to do all we can to get everything going again.
Now, you were there just shortly after they came, correct?
Yes, we arrived maybe 10 minutes after they got there, and they had just gotten inside. I ran up on what was happening at that point. Federal marshals on our porch, and the FCC was inside dismantling us. They did not allow me in. I came up on the porch, and they had the paperwork, which was the warrant, and on the warrant, our equipment was the defendant. It said the plaintiff was the United States of America, and the defendants were our equipment, all of our equipment. And so...
Wait a minute, aren't you a part of the United States of America?
Yes, I am.
I don't think you wanted them busting your station.
No, I didn't, as a matter of fact, and I've been asking that question since yesterday. Who is representing the United States of America here, which they are saying are the plaintiffs who wanted our equipment arrested yesterday?
How many programmers are involved in KFAR Radio?
Right now there's about 72 people showing up to do a show.
Can you briefly describe some of the programs that you do?
Sure. We have, the morning news, which you guys know about already, and then we have a show called Deep Ecology with anarcho DJ John Connor, and that's about, it names itself pretty well, Deep Ecology, and he talks about all political issues. He talks about the presidential elections right now and keeps people well versed on what's going on the inside there, and plays revolutionary hip-hop. And we also have another hip-hop show on Saturday nights. We also have late night, just crazy, different kinds of music, a wide range, and we have a techno show. We have an animal rights Monday evenings at 6 o'clock, And we have a little girl who does a show Monday night. She's 12 years old, and she's a freestyle and hip-hop artist.
I'm sure she's probably bummed out that her radio station's gone now.
She was very bummed out. She called me last night, and the first she had heard of it was when she seen it on the news. She said, oh no, we got raided, and she really couldn't get over it. She was on the phone with me for about a half hour just trying to process what happened.
Wow.
And she don't understand why they don't want us there.
Station.
It's like being nibbled to death by a duck.
Want to find a Christian community where you can learn and grow together?
We want this station for continuous soft rock favorites with less time. Late 97.
A Clear Channel Worldwide Station.
KYSR FM, Los Angeles.
A Clear Channel Worldwide Station. A Clear Channel Worldwide
I'm talking to Black-Eyed Susan, who was a DJ, or is still DJ, with KFAR Radio in Knoxville, Tennessee, which was shut down on Wednesday, September 15th, 2004, 10 a.m. in the morning. What do you think about the raid and what happened to your station?
I think that the raid was politically motivated.